Everyone, this is Nimish. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about Irul, released on Netflix on April Fool's Day, starring Fahad Fasil, Sobin Sahir, Darshana Rajendran, directed by debut director Nasif Yusuf Izzuddin. It is very clear it is a directorial debut because it has so many problems that nothing really sits well. With Jomonty John's experienced cinematography style that's very creative, with a bunch of cool camera and editing tricks that have been used throughout the movie, you can clearly see certain departments jumping out and being much more professional, creative, fun to watch, including a couple acting sequences, as opposed to the actual final product because the director is a debutant. The problem is that this director and the team probably envisioned a thriller setting in a certain way, three people in a house and dramatic things happening overnight, and they didn't go beyond that. They did not go into etching out the characters to extreme details or thinking about what the motivations are of the characters, why they do certain things, why they react in a certain way. All that was not done. It clearly feels like a quick project that they were like, let's make this cool thriller, it'll be cool, we can release it on Netflix, people will watch it, we'll be fine. And to me, that's the biggest problem. So the writing is extremely problematic, and not just the fact that they didn't etch out the characters, but in the 90 minutes that they had, they actually didn't use it wisely because this movie is too long for 90 minutes. In a 90-minute thriller, I was not thrilled for at least 40 minutes of the movie throughout the movie. There were sequences that felt dull, there were sequences that felt prolonged, there were sequences that didn't feel required or extended in certain ways, didn't add to the story at all. So the time value of the 90 minutes that could have been spent on developing the characters or making the flow a little better was not focused on very well. So the whole storyboarding and screenplay aspect of it also did not work for me. Coming to the performances, because the characters were not etched out and because it was a very template film, the reference and thoughts and vision by the actors were probably also template, and therefore the performance is extremely surface level, no depth whatsoever, no motivation whatsoever, and the director obviously failed to identify that perfectly because he was going for a vision of a scene or a sequence that needed a feel, and because he got that feel, he thought the movie would be successful. Clearly that did not come across. For example, the Fahad Fasil character for the most part of the movie is playing this eccentric, sort of lonesome, mysterious, brooding human being, but there's no reason for him to be that loud and eccentric when he starts off with a very quiet, mysterious presence that was very exciting. Suddenly he gets into this talkative mode and talks way too much, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Sobin Sahir's character is given this sort of nuance of having anger problems and temper tantrums, and it comes out of nowhere. There's no thought on when it angers him, at what point the trigger tips. He's just angry and sort of shouting out loud throughout the movie. And last but not the least, the most annoying character was Darshana's, because she was told to be the damsel in distress and just asked the question every time throughout the movie, what is going on, what is going on, someone tell me the truth, I really want to know what's going on. And she kept doing that, and the director enabled her to do that even in sequences where it was not required. For example, there is a sequence where Fahad Fasil and Sobin Sahir are debating very hotly, very hot-headedly in a loud manner to each other. And while they're constantly arguing and completely ignoring Darshana, she keeps asking Sobin Sahir, tell me what's going on, 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 tell me. I'm like, nobody's listening to you. Why are you continuously screaming? Why are you continuously adding to the noise? The purpose obviously was probably to create this chaotic sequences that we've probably seen in some movies, but this is not the place you do it, and this is not the method it's done. It didn't make sense. If they are clearly arguing against each other so much and not listening to you the first couple times, you standing there and continuously delivering tell me something does not help. So it was pretty poorly executed overall, and the time was not well used. The writing was obviously non-existent, and the twists and turns and the thrilling aspects were not even thrilling or twisty enough or suspenseful enough for me. A lot of the movie was predictable, a lot of it was one toned. You could see where the story is going, you could tell what happens next, and unfortunately there's very little good things to say about Errol. So for me, this was a big April Fool expectation that I had from the trailer, that this is going to be an awesome movie, whereas turned out it was not even close to any of the expectation. Extremely disappointed because I expected great things from these three performing artists, and their performances themselves were not that great. So I'm very disappointed on that front, and also disappointed with the creative team behind this, such as the producer Joe Monty John, etc. I'm sure the debut director Naseef is very talented and got this opportunity, but the execution did not work for me. So I'm going with 1.5 stars for Errol. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep watching for much more.